Mrs. Shemensky, and in my first vlog for the forensics community, I like to discuss the issue of choosing a proper piece, because quite frankly, if you don't have the proper piece for your event, you're not going to get very far. So when you're looking for a piece, you're going to look at 5 different things: universality, originality, the story, the characters, and whether or not you love the thing at all. So in the next few minutes, we're going to break down those categories, and by the end of this little tutorial, I know you're going to be on your way to finding a great piece for this upcoming forensics season. Step number 1, finding a piece that has universality. What exactly does that mean? Well, universality simply means choosing a piece that has wide appeal for people. I mean, I might really enjoy 18th century literature, but I know it's not really the most popular thing among people, so I'm probably not going to choose a piece from that time period. Remember, when you're choosing any sort of piece, you're trying to win over not only the judge, but also the entire audience. Because if you have people in your audience that are falling asleep, you're not going to rank very high. So be considerate of your audience. Think of things that they would want to hear about, and also stuff that interests you. Try to get everybody involved, because the more participants you have, more captive audience you have, the better you're going to do in a round. Step number 2. When you're choosing a piece, you want to look for something that's original. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a round and had to listen to the, slightly different variation of the piece speak. I mean, I haven't even read the book, and I could pretty much tell you the basic plot outline. And if judges are anything like the typical audience member, like yourself, once you hear something more than, 5 times in a season, you start tuning it out. So try to choose something that's slightly original, slightly different, off the beaten path. I guarantee you, people might not have heard of it, but it's going to go far. It's going to pay off for you in the end if you put the proper energy into researching your piece, making sure it has wide appeal, and putting your heart and soul into it. Be different. Don't be scared to be original. And while we're on the topic of originality, I also want to stress the point that if you're doing a dramatic event, no one wants to hear a sob story that goes on for the entire 8 to 10 minute performance that you have. I mean, I hate sitting through those pieces that have the same basic structure story plot, that everybody knows the little twists and turns that are going to happen. So stay away from those pieces that are just designed to make people cry. Granted, sometimes people, if they pull it off, they tend to rank a little higher because it does have that dramatic appeal. But honestly, deep down, the judges know it's just a cop-out. So be original. Don't be afraid. Do something that's going to wow everybody. And even if it has something that's a little humorous or a little different, I guarantee if you put energy into it, you'll rank well. Step 3, story. So you found this amazing novel, short story, play, whatever you plan on doing for a future event. Well, you have to ask yourself, can this be cut and tell a proper story? I mean, we are storytellers, so story matters quite a bit. We need to have an introduction that gets a hold of our listeners. We need rising action, a climax that's just as fabulous. We need falling action, and a denouement. If for some reason a piece you're looking at doesn't look like it could be cut and have all those things and make it work for you in your 8 to 10 minutes, don't do the piece. Sometimes things are meant to be longer and read for its own entirety. If you can't cut it, don't do it. You also need to be looking for a story that lends itself to suspense, to drama, to humor, that has all these elements that pull your listeners in. If you don't have this, if you can't facilitate a cutting that gets you this, don't do it. It's just not worth the hassle of trying to make something work. You might love a piece of literature, but if you can't cut it down, it's just not worth the hassle. You won't get your listeners in, and you won't rank well with the judges. Step 4, characters. I'm sure you guys have all read something that had an amazing plot, had a great theme, but for some reason the characterization sort of was bland. If you're thinking of doing a piece like this for any speech event, just don't do it. You're going to end up falling flat, and the judges are going to see this, and they're going to rank you down for not having vibrant characters. So when you're looking for speech pieces, find works of literature, plays, that have characters that sort of come to life, are just begging to be read aloud and get this personalization brought into it by you. So look for characters that have character development, strong personalities, are just very exciting and very relatable to the audience that you're going to be performing in front of. look for these things in characters, because if you find characters that are just non-original and boring, you're going to come off as non-original and boring. The fifth and final step. Love. You have to love what you're doing. If you're choosing a piece just because it sounds good on paper and you think it's going to perform well and rank you higher, you're not going to do well. You need to do something that you love and your passion shows through it. Remember, you're going to be working with this piece for countless hours. You have to cut it, you have to analyze it, you have to keep altering it and adding to it, keeping it fresh. You're going to be living these lives for the next how many weeks and bringing these stories to life day in, day out. I've seen people who have technically put on a good performance and have done everything according to the book, but if their heart's not into it, you can tell. And they've ranked lower because of it, because there's just no passion, there's no energy, there's no excitement to be doing what they're doing. So if you have a piece that, has universality, originality, has a great story, characters, and you don't love it, it's not worth doing. You need to find something that you're passionate about, and it will show through in what you do. And the judges will just eat this up. Your audience will eat it up as well. They'll all sense this, and everybody will follow you along on your story, and you'll have everybody just listening to your every word and following you along. There's a great energy that comes from loving your piece. So you need to choose something that you're passionate about and that you want to spend the time on. And I guarantee it, if you do that, you'll do well. So that concludes my first blog entry ever on the forensics community. I hope you all enjoyed it and that I didn't put you guys to sleep. Hopefully you'll learn something. And I hope it helps you in your future endeavors and all speech-related things you do. Next week I will be posting a performance of me from when I was in speech in high school, doing a cutting of the yellow wallpaper. So I'm quite crazy. It's pretty cool. You should all join me next week for that. Again, I'm Lisa Shemensky. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Ciao!